Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings. I'm no longer a pilot. I'm no longer in the military. I'm no longer a private investigator. Those 3 points, firmly addressed, please be aware, having flown extensively across the nation, I no longer fly commercially. Please take this information, which I'm about to share with you, into consideration. A coroner is not a doctor. They are typically elected or appointed to the position. A medical examiner is typically a forensic pathologist physician trained in death investigations. Anyone can be a coroner. Only trained professionals can be medical examiners. In military and aviation parlance, commercial airliners operate in what's called Class A airspace. That is what is called Flight Level 180 and above. Flight Level 180 is 18,000 feet. When flying at those altitudes, aircraft are pressurized to simulate a lower atmospheric pressure. Not the same as being at sea level, but certainly nowhere near what it would be at or above Flight Level 180. The training classes, which I conducted in the military, included hypoxia practical demonstrations and rapid decompression simulated practical demonstrations. When this article informs you that Mr. Barnett had uncovered serious problems with oxygen systems, take this warning seriously. T as in tango, U as in uniform, C as in Charlie is an acronym for time of useful consciousness. At flight levels exceeding 180, your TUC diminishes from minutes to single-digit seconds. If your oxygen equipment is faulty in any manner, not only do you risk passing out from hypoxia in 5 seconds or less and dying, if you don't die, you risk any number of decompression medical issues, such as the bends. Boeing's denial, especially with the increasing number of mishaps in recent years, isn't enough. As Mr. Barnett was in the process of being legally interviewed, he is now found dead. With the information I've provided about the reliability of coroners, the importance of oxygen equipment, the question must be seriously considered. Who stands to lose the most from Mr. Barnett's continued efforts to alert regulators and ergo warn the consumers? 12 March 2024, Boeing whistleblower John Barnett found dead in U.S. by Theo Leggett, BBC, that's British Broadcasting Corporation. A former Boeing employee known for raising concerns about the firm's production standards has been found dead in the U.S. John Barnett worked for Boeing for more than 30 years before retiring in 2017. In the days before his death, he had been giving evidence in a whistleblower lawsuit against the company. Boeing said it was saddened to hear of Mr. Barnett's passing. The Charleston County coroner confirmed his death to the BBC on Monday. It said the 62-year-old had died from a self-inflicted wound on 9 March, and police were investigating. Mr. Barnett had worked for the U.S. plane giant for more than 30 years until his retirement in 2017 on health grounds. From 2010, he worked as a quality manager at the North Charleston plant, making the 787 or 787 Dreamliner, a state-of-the-art airliner used mainly on long-haul routes. In 2019, Mr. Barnett told the BBC that under pressure, workers had been deliberately fitting substandard parts to aircraft on the production line. He also said he had uncovered serious problems with oxygen systems, which could mean 1 in 4 breathing masks would not work in an emergency. He said soon after starting work in South Carolina, he had become concerned that the push to get new aircraft built meant the assembly process was rushed and safety was compromised, something the company denied. He later told the BBC that workers had failed to follow procedures intended to track components through the factory, allowing defective components to go missing. He said in some cases, substandard parts had even been removed from scrap bins and fitted to planes that were being built to prevent delays on the production line. He also claimed that tests on emergency oxygen systems due to be fitted to the 787 showed a failure rate of 25%, meaning that 1 in 4 could fail to deploy in a real-life emergency. Mr. Barnett said he had alerted managers to his concerns, but no action had been taken. Boeing denied his assertions. However, a 2017 review by the U.S. regulator, the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, did uphold some of Mr. Barnett's concerns. It established that the location of at least 53 non-conforming parts in the factory was unknown and that they were considered lost. Boeing was ordered to take remedial action. On the oxygen cylinders issue, the company said that in 2017 it had identified some oxygen bottles received from the supplier that were not deploying properly, but it denied that any of them were actually fitted on aircraft. After retiring, he embarked on a long-running legal action against the company. He accused it of denigrating his character and hampering his career because of the issues he pointed out. Charges rejected by Boeing. At the time of his death, Mr. Barnett had been in Charleston for legal interviews linked to that case. Last week, he gave a formal deposition in which he was questioned by Boeing's lawyers before being cross-examined by his own counsel. He had been due to undergo further questioning on Saturday. When he did not appear, inquiries were made at his hotel. He was subsequently found dead in his truck in the hotel car park. Speaking to the BBC, his lawyer described his death as tragic. In a statement, Boeing said, "We are saddened by Mr. Barnett's passing and our thoughts are with his family and friends." His death comes at a time when production standards at both Boeing and its key supplier, Spirit Aerosystems, are under intense scrutiny. This follows an incident in early January when an unused emergency exit door blew off a brand new Boeing 737 MAX shortly after takeoff from Portland International Airport. A preliminary report from the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, the U.S. NTSB, suggested that 4 key bolts designed to hold the door securely in place were not fitted. Last week, the FAA said a 6-week audit of the company had found multiple instances where the company allegedly failed to comply with manufacturing quality control requirements. If you're interested in learning more about flight mishaps, the NTSB maintains a website of flight mishaps, though the Portland issue is too recent to most likely be on their website.